Hello there gamers, it's me, Frosty. Fallout and the Elder Scrolls, what do they have in common besides that Todd guy? Well, besides Todd Howard, the Elder Scrolls and Fallout series are made by Bethesda Game Studios, and if you didn't know that, get out. So last year, I looked at Valve's connections between games, so now it seems like a good time to look at Bethesda's connections between Fallout and the Elder Scrolls. So let's look at the strange connections that put the irradiated world of Fallout and the fantasy lands of the Elder Scrolls in one universe. But before we do any of that, I just want to thank you guys so much for 200 subscribers. It means a lot to me. I've put so much work into this channel, and it's a small number, but it's gonna keep going up. I'm thankful for that. And to help it keep going up, maybe you should subscribe if you haven't. I'm not gonna force you, but you should. Okay, let's get back to the video. Before we can dive into the Easter eggs and evidence that these two games are set in the same universe, let's look at some of the basics of each game's universe. The Elder Scrolls universe is set on the planet Nirn, which itself is in a galaxy of sorts known as Mundus. The Fallout universe is set on a version of Earth that took nuclear power and ran wild with it, leading to atomic annihilation in 2077 that brought about the aforementioned Fallout. So, how can two games set in two totally different galaxies be connected? Nirnroot is that annoying glowing plant that makes that annoying high-pitched noise that distracts you when you're trying to explore the lands of Skyrim. The plant first appeared in the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and is overall considered to be a rare plant species on Nirn. So why does the Brotherhood of Steel have some of it? Yep, that's right. In Fallout 4, the Brotherhood of Steel are studying a mysterious glowing plant that makes a weird noise. They call it the experimental plant, but we all know what it really is. Also, the plant is found naturally growing in Far Harbor. So Nirnroot is on Earth, but how and why remain a mystery. Besides radiation, Fallout is plagued with many supernatural aspects, like aliens, demons, and magic. Let's start with our friend from Nuka World, Oswald the Outrageous. Oswald is a glowing one, a ghoul who glows from the amount of radiation they have absorbed, who was once a stage magician at the Nuka World theme park. Oswald is a necromancer. Necromancy, which is the use of magic to raise someone from the dead, is pretty common in the Elder Scrolls universe, with our player characters even being able to take part in the fun. Oswald is the only character in the Fallout universe who I've been able to find that can raise sentient minds, granted they are feral ghouls, back from the dead without the help of science. The game writes it off as high radiation, but you can shoot these ghouls till they're deader than dead, and Ozzy will raise them. Basically, Oswald is truly outrageous. That's not all. Let's also look at the Dunwich mystery. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail, but if you want to learn more, I have some really awesome videos linked down below in my description. Basically, the Dunwich Boars Company in the Fallout universe turned out to be a cult who worshipped a strange obelisk that itself was used in the worship of a strange deity known as Ug-Quoth-Toth. In the Point Lookout DLC from Fallout 3, the player can find the Krivbekna, an ancient book associated with this cult, and the player can destroy it for a massive karma boost or return it to the obelisk. While this whole subplot is a reference to H.P. Lovecraft's The Dunwich Horror, in a universe where Nirnroot and magic exists, I believe that Ug-Quoth-Toth is none other than Mehrunes Dagon, a powerful Daedra from the Elder Scrolls universe who wants to take over Nirn. Dagon also has a cult following on Nirn, and perhaps the Krivbekna, which itself is of supernatural origin, contains the truth about Ug-Quoth-Toth. But this isn't a Dunwich Boars video, so let's talk about ghosts. Let's head back to Nuka World, and to the Grandchester Mystery Mansion, where there is a ghost of a little girl. You can't shoot her, or target her in vats, and she isn't a fancy hologram for the attraction. She is a literal ghost. In the Elder Scrolls, the player can encounter many ghosts and spirits, and some who pretend to be ghosts. So, to make my point, there's a lot of supernatural connections between the Elder Scrolls and Fallout series. Sadly, unlike my last video where I looked at the connections between Portal and Half-Life, we have a definitive answer to the truth about the connections between the Fallout and Elder Scrolls universe. After the Nirnroot appearance in Fallout 4, fans quickly compiled all the connections they could find between the two universes, only for Bethesda Vice President Pete Hines to shoot it down. At E3 2017, he said, "I haven't the foggiest of notions how anybody could make the leap that they are in fact part of the same thing. We made the Elder Scrolls, and a completely different developer and publisher came up with Fallout, which we then acquired. I don't think there's any universe in which those universes are in the same universe. That's not a thing." So basically, these connections are just Easter eggs or just other supernatural events. But some of these connections are too similar to not be somewhat related. But I guess if Pete Hines says it isn't true, then it isn't true. Unless Pete Hines is Ugg Qualtoff!